Black Rims. I'm Mars Girl.
I'm Josh Knight the First.
This is Season 7, Episode 24.
Or Episode 166 if you're counting.
So it's the season finale, and thank you so much to everyone here and all the Patreon contributors at patreon.com/MarsGirl who make this show and all kinds of other stuff I do possible. So, yay! Glad to see you all here for what is going to be, like I said, our last show for the season, and then we've got a month-long break, and we'll come back in March. Yes? March? That sounds about right.
That sounds about right. Although, the funny thing about March is we've got a few premieres in March, so as soon as we come back, I think it's a week or 2 weeks in, then we take a break because we're going to have to see a midnight showing of Power Rangers.
Yeah, that's not saying we're excited to see the midnight showing of Power Rangers. That's a thing that
that's our white whale right now.
We have to do. It's very important.
For your sake, we're watching that ahead of time.
Yes. I mean, I'm sure somebody out there is excited about it. I guess we're going to be talking a little bit about it later on. Not a whole lot, just this tiniest bit. A little bit of information. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. What else is going on right now, just before we get into actual news discussion and stuff?
You are older now than you were the last time we did the show.
Was my birthday really? Yeah,
the next day.
My birthday was the next day. Yeah. I'm 31 now, guys.
Yes.
I am somebody who's not afraid to tell you how old I am, so some people might think, oh, it was rude to ask a lady about her. I'm 31, guys. Like, I'm just gonna throw that right out there at you. I'm 31. So.
Me too.
What? It's weird.
Wow. So what do we do for your birthday?
You guys, you're wearing the Mariachi Entertainment System
Why,
shirt.
I sure am.
So over at PAX South, which was right here in San Antonio this past weekend.
Right.
Friday was my birthday, and Mariachi Entertainment System, they're based here out of San Antonio as well, and we know the lead of Mariachi Entertainment System, David Ortiz, who he plays trumpet and does pretty much all the composition for all of the songs ever.
Yes.
And he's a very talented individual. I told him, hey, you're doing this on my birthday, man, so you better make this a good show. And he's like, oh no, the pressure's on. And before I knew it, he's playing in the show, and he said in front of the whole audience, he pointed right at me and said, hey, happy birthday, Mars Girl. And so the whole audience applauded, and I was like, oh, that was real nice of him. Oh, he's such a good guy. So I wish him a whole lot of luck. He's got really good things, really big things.
It was a great show they put on.
It was a great show, and now he's got really big opportunities coming up, some of which I can't actually talk about. But I will tell you guys for sure when I can talk about them.
But can you talk about what you got to play with there at PAX?
Yes, I did play with the Nintendo Switch while at PAX. You did not. That was not important to you,
I was close to it.
You looked at it.
I looked at it. It was in a case. I was that far from it.
Yeah, well, there also was the one that is not in the case, and I got to put my hands on it. And it was so weird because you walk into the Switch booth, which, you know, it had a long line, and then it had a cutoff for the line, and then there was a line for the line, and then they said, hey, you can't stand in line for the line. So what I had to do was, like, circle the block of booths.
Like a gamer shark.
Yeah,
like a game shark.
Like a game shark. I was a friggin' buzzard, and then I finally got in the line. It really wasn't so bad, and then you get in there, and you can only choose to play 3 out of the 6 games they had available. So I did 1-2 Switch, I did Snipper Clips, and I did... What was the third one I did? I did ARMS. I did all the ones that were not based on a pre-existing title. Like, they had Bomberman, they had Street Fighter 2, and they had Splatoon 2. I specifically chose not to do those because those are basically the same games you know them as, but they might be like a little bit different. I wanted to play like all new things. So I'm holding this Switch, right? And the Switch is just, it's so freakishly light, which is really cool.
Like a tablet.
Yeah, like it is definitely the weight of a tablet at best, because it was also tethered to the table, and the guys there were like, yeah, and imagine how light it's gonna feel when it's not tethered to the table. I'm just like, oh my god, I'm gonna break this thing. I'm just gonna go one day and it's gonna break in it. But it felt sturdy
especially
enough.
With the way you were talking about the Joy-Cons.
Yeah, the Joy-Cons, they look small in pictures, and in any video you guys have seen of this, including the ones that we have shown in previous episodes, they look really small, and we commented, oh, these things are gonna get lost. And it's such a different thing when you hold them, because you can feel just how freakishly small they are, alright? They're like, they look like I'm just gonna go like this, and then when I open my hand up, it's not gonna be there anymore. It's just, where did it go? And they tell you, oh, don't forget to put the strap on your wrist. And I'm like,
you're gonna have to
and
now.
I'm looking at it like, you're right, I better put the strap on my wrist. Like, they're not freaking kidding. But the motion is so detailed, actually. I was really surprised at its motion detection and its vibration, because it's not like a Wiimote or another game controller that you're holding and the whole thing just goes, the whole thing just rumbles. Right. No, with 1-2 switch, for example, there's a mini game where you pretend that your Joy-Con is like a little wooden box, and inside the little wooden box are like balls, like marbles in there, and you roll it back and forth, and you try and feel how many balls are in the wooden box. It's like Schrodinger's cat, except with invisible balls instead. So you can feel.
Don't even worry.
You can feel the marbles, individual marbles, mind you, between like 2 to 5 marbles roll from this one side and go and hit the end of the Joy-Con as you roll it back and forth, which I just thought was like really freaking impressive. So that's just some of the stuff in regards to the Switch that I was able to see. Breath of the Wild had its own entirely separate line. I was not about to get into that.
No,
but it was
screw
there.
that.
But it was there, and I looked at it, and it looked cool.
Yes.
Yes.
And I got to play some stuff too. There was a lot of cool indie games there. What was just Shapes and Beats? That looks like
that's the name of the game.
That's the name of the game.
Just Shapes and Beats.
This is a rhythm game that actually is up my alley because it's simplistic. I like the beats. I don't mind the shapes. I don't have to think hard about them. But it's engaging. I liked it. There was also another one where you're a robot pizza delivery company where the chest of the robot is the actual store, and the whole store gets up as a giant robot. And it's basically like Crazy Taxi with a giant robot that serves pizza.
And the giant robot needs to be shouting, "Pizza!"
I wish.
If only.
Yes.
So there were plenty of cool things at PAX South. It was better this year, I think, than it was last year.
I think so too.
Which is weird because I think there was actually less attendance this year than there was the previous year.
Perhaps.
Maybe?
I mean, it was pretty packed, but not as packed as some other events that I've been to, especially compared to last year. And yes, like some people are bringing up there, downtown San Antonio was also home to some WWE events. We had NXT TakeOver there on Saturday night. Same time as PAX. Xavier Woods was walking around the convention because, he can't friggin' stay away from a nerdy thing. And everywhere we were, he was on the opposite end of things.
Basically, yeah.
Doing something cool. Like, if he was in the jam space, we were somewhere else. If we went to the jam space, he was somewhere else. And that sucked. And then Sunday night, of course, was the Royal Rumble, and that could have gone better.
We did not attend, but we did watch from a friend's house.
Yes,
so.
And I'm glad I didn't spend the money to go down there. They're really shooting themselves in the foot with WWE Network. Like, why would you ever buy a single pay-per-view?
Never do it ever again.
There's
no point. So, in any case, that's tons of stuff that we were up to over this past week, mostly over the course of the weekend, but we should probably go ahead and move on.
Yeah, we got a show. We should do our show.
So let's talk about the news stories that we're gonna be talking about a little bit later on. Unfortunately, we have to do this sometimes, and I hate that this has to come during our season finale, but we do need to talk about the passing of Sir John Hurt, a very long-time actor, very prolific, and thus somebody else who we do need to say it's sad that he's gone, but let's not be too sad because he left us with so much. So we'll be talking about him a little bit later on.
And then our second story of the evening will be revolving around the 30th anniversary of Final Fantasy. So Square Enix did put out a lot of information regarding different games that they're working on, different additions to games that we already have, and trying to get us hyped for a game that we know they're never going to freaking put out. So we'll talk about that a little bit more in the second story.
And finally, the third story, as if it needs to be explained why anyone should not stop and shop at GameStop. GameStop has made it their policy to be dishonest with folks about what is and is not available for purchase, but at the same time, they're also trying to promise people, no, that's not true, we're not being dishonest, wink wink, nudge nudge. I will elaborate more upon that story a little bit later on, in that segment later on tonight.
Right.
Before we get to that stuff, as always, I know you've helped me out with some follow-up stuff, so why don't you tell me about it?
Help us out. It's for the team.
It's for the team.
It's for the team. All right, let's get to the follow-ups. So, this isn't full-blown Justice League, but it is full-blown panic over at Warner Brothers right now. So, notably, up to this point, Ben Affleck had said, I am the director of The Batman. I will direct The Batman because there's a good script attached. If there's not a good script attached, I will not direct. So he's not directing anymore.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's still starring, of course. He's still executive producer on the project.
I don't know if that helps. I don't know if it's still going to be good, even though he's still executive producing. I don't know if I believe it.
See,
he
the thing-
doesn't believe in the script, clearly. That is what this move means.
Because the thing about it is, this was going to be the one shining light, other than Wonder Woman, for the DC Extended Universe. We were hoping, Ben, we know you love the character. It's the only reason you did Daredevil to begin with. We know you've wanted to play this character for so long. We know you believed in it. And technically he still does because he made that move on his own. I'm not going to direct something I don't believe in. I'll star in it because, I've signed a contract. But as far as directing goes, I'm not going to do that. So I get it. Like, I still believe in him as wanting to produce the best Batman movie he can.
I believe he will be the best possible Batman actor he can possibly be to deliver whatever it is that he has been given. That I absolutely believe.
But now we're looking for a new director.
I don't think the movie is going to be an overall good movie. This is not a good sign to me. It's not.
And the thing about it was they were fighting over it for the last couple of weeks. Like, no, I'm still doing it. I'm still doing it. I mean, maybe. I mean, you know how things get. No, I'm not doing it, man. Like, that's how it turned out. That's how every interview has gone up until this week. So, yeah, now we're in this boat. Good luck, DC.
Yeah, we'll see you guys in a couple more years.
We'll see you guys in a couple more years.
All right, give me something else, Josh.
Okay, so over on the Aquaman end of things, we've got Nicole Kidman in talks to play Aquaman's mother. Now, the thing is, she's no stranger to DC movies. She, of course, was in Batman Forever back in '95. So this wouldn't be the first time she's been in a superhero property, specifically for DC.
Mm-hmm.
That hasn't been confirmed yet, but they're working on that. The other thing tied to Aquaman is that they're looking to also include not just Ocean Master, but Black Manta.
Oh, okay.
His arch nemesis. And that means he'll have double duty to deal with. And I think that's a weird decision because you could have gone either way. A movie solely devoted to having Aquaman fight Black Manta or solely devoted to fighting Ocean Master. But now you're going to have both. Mm-hmm. Really, I'm worried about that because that would be like blowing your entire load of big, baddies for Aquaman. Because he doesn't have that many bad guys that he's notable for. It's just those two.
Yeah, well, they'll make something up.
Obviously,
because, they do that over at DC and Warner Brothers. They do that.
Like, if you guys, stretch it out. Tell a story over movies. You don't have to do it all in one. Stop it.
There's no talking to Warner Brothers at this point. You know that. You know you can't make them stop making bad decisions.
No, I guess not.
No. So let's make a better decision. Let's move on.
Let's talk about some other stuff. Okay, so let's talk about DC TV over on the CW. That's a lot of letters. So over on Supergirl, we've already had Dean Cain show up as Kara's surrogate father. Now, of course, you remember that Dean Cain, of course, famously in the 90s played Clark Kent. Mm-hmm. There on The Adventures of Lois and Clark. Well, now Terry Hatcher, who was Lois Lane on that show, will now be showing up there on Supergirl playing a villainous role.
Oh, okay.
And she will be a recurring character. So it looks like they're going to still draw back on that rich Superman history there. And it'll be nice to see her on TV. Of course, I'll be waiting to see, just like they did over in The Flash, whether or not she'll have some scenes with Dean Cain, if they'll reference their old relationship at all.
Oh, it'll probably be a wink, wink, nudge, nudge sort of thing, but otherwise not spoken about in depth because it's not exactly canon. Within this...
Not within this sort of thing. Jeremiah Danvers is very much taken, but, we're hoping that we get something out of that.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the Marvel news.
All right.
Okay, so first thing I'm going to bring up here is this new figure that we're seeing coming out for the Amazing not the Amazing Spider-Man, I'm sorry, I got the wrong movie. Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, this is coming to you from the people over at Medicom. Now, Medicom is known for making those tall dolls that are about comparable to the size of Hot Toys dolls,
Yes,
the ones
that's
that you
right.
get scared by.
Yeah,
well, this
but
is
these are
going to
not
be a
scary.
smaller scale figure with a huge amount of articulation.
That looks like good articulation right there. Like, that looks pretty
Like, that's
alright.
as much as I wanted from a toy growing up, you know, with all the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. And I remember for Spider-Man 2, they had this giant one that had a lot of articulation, but that was the thing. It had to be giant so you could get that much out of it. Here,
Right.
it's going to be a lot smaller. It's not going to be, you know, doll-sized. It will come with an interchangeable head having, you know, Tom Holland's likeness on it. You know, a hand for gripping his mask like he pulled it off. Different accessories and whatnot. No word on price yet, but I'm gonna pay it. Like that's a sweet figure.
I'm still waiting for, you know, Japanese Spider-Man.
Yes.
Still waiting for it. Sorry. I'm not gonna buy another figure.
Spider Machine GP7, bring it to me.
Spider Machine GP7 and
Okay.
Leopardon. I need that.
Okay, and moving on to some other news here, somewhat related to the Square Enix news from later. We are getting reports now that the second game that Marvel and Square Enix will be working on together, specifically the IDOS division, will be a Guardians of the Galaxy game.
Yes.
So that'll be 2 new games for Guardians of the Galaxy coming out. One for Telltale, which we've already seen at least the teaser for, and now this one from IDOS. So no word yet on how that's going to go, whether or not, again, that's going to be based in cinematic universe or an original story. But, you know, they're really digging in there. So we've at least got 2... Maybe more properties are coming. We don't know yet.
So at this point, Square Enix better stop, like, kicking IDOS in the ribs and saying, oh, you don't make us quite the number of millions that we expect. They're gonna make the millions.
Yeah, they're
just
gonna make
by
it.
being tied into Marvel at this point. So leave IDOS alone, Square Enix. You guys are totally got your money here.
Yes. And then over on with the casting news of Cloak and Dagger. So we had reported a while back that they had greenlit that they were going to start working on a Cloak and Dagger series where we do have some casting for that. If I can just go ahead and pull that up here. Okay, so that's going to be Aubrey Joseph and Olivia Holt as Cloak and Dagger, respectively. That's going to be over on the Freeform channel. No word yet on when they're going to get started, but at least we've got that major casting of the 2 leads there.
All right, great.
So yes, Marvel is still moving forward there on the television front. Okay, also some sad news out of Britain. Of course, you guys are talking about it there in the chat. Got to talk about it here. So Peter Capaldi has gone ahead and said this will be his last year playing the Doctor over on Doctor Who.
See, and I didn't completely dislike him, but you're right in the conversations that you and I have had that he got kind of a bad hand in what was written for him.
Well, yeah, I like him as the Doctor. I really do. I just don't like the scripts they give him.
Yeah, but then again, I don't really watch Doctor Who, but I definitely notice a difference when we're talking about Stephen Moffat doing
the showrunner.
writing. Yeah.
Yes. So his exit does line up with Moffat's exit, so they'll both be leaving around the same time. No word yet on how that story's going to go. That'll, of course, probably get spoiled well ahead of time once we find out who the replacement Doctor will be, but that does mean the search is on for a new Doctor.
Well, realize this, though. If the both of them are leaving all at once, then perhaps this means that Doctor Who will be 100% entirely fresh all over again from the ground up, and maybe I'll actually be interested in it.
I know a lot of different people are pushing for different candidates for the Doctor. A lot of people saying, hey, now's the time. Now that we're getting rid of Moffat, female Doctor. We can do it now. We've already got a female Master. I don't have a problem with it. You get the right person, I'll watch.
Yeah, for sure.
I would like to have a reason to watch again, please.
Yes.
Okay, so moving on to some other things. So talking about the Switch, of course, we got to handle it, or at least you got to handle it. I got to look at it. They've already released a trailer, a Super Bowl trailer for the Switch for this coming Super Bowl weekend. Featuring the Switch, featuring Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Also features parents and children finally playing the games together,
Yes.
which is, you remember the previous footage they've released all featured a bunch of millennials, and,
Right.
you know, that is kind of the target audience, and I appreciate that, but Nintendo does need to focus on the rest of the family. How's the rest of the family going to interact with it? So you're watching parents and their children, their young children, playing, like, 1-2 Switch and ARMS, and punching at each other, which, by the way, the punching mechanics in ARMS, very good, because it knows when you punch like this, or you punch like this.
So it knows a jab from a hook.
Yeah, and it knows when you're doing this, it knows you're blocking. It knows.
Nice. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on to some other news here. So we can confirm that Star Trek Discovery has started filming.
Yay!
They're moving forward.
Well,
They're moving forward.
Good. Let them, I guess.
And
I'm
the
getting
other-
more and more disappointed as time goes on.
And moving to the other end of the galaxy, we can confirm that the Han Solo spin-off movie has started filming under the title Red Cup.
Red Cup.
Solo.
Yes.
Solo Red Cup.
I understand.
Now we get jokes.
I hope they don't actually call it that. That is just
the
working
that's
title,
just,
right?
No, that's just the sneak title.
Yeah, the working title.
Yeah, so we've got that to look forward to. Hopefully we'll start seeing set pictures of everybody there shooting there on that Star Wars spin-off movie. So good luck to them. We've also got this picture here. This is reportedly the final poster for the Power Rangers reboot that was just released today, actually showing the Rangers in suit and their Zords.
Yeah, another example of, man, you would have made me a lot less afraid if you had released this months ago.
Yeah.
Months ago.
Because we are weeks away from the movie being released. I think we're like, 7 weeks away?
At best, yeah.
And we're just getting this now.
Yeah, and again, I still don't really like the suit designs all that much, and I'm not thrilled with the Zord designs all that much, but its composition, this poster composition, is not nearly as horrifying as every single other promotional image we were ever given up until this point.
Because what I get from this is that if you had let off with this would have displayed the confidence that you think you can have now. If you had come out
that you actually think that you're trying to sell a Power Rangers movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because up to this point, I would think that Lionsgate has been playing it safe.
Mm-hmm.
With the advertising, thinking, well, we want to believe in this, but I don't know, people on the internet get mad, so we'll wait till the last minute. No, like, if you've got something and you really believe that you've got something that the audience will resonate with, and some test audiences, I don't know, I wasn't there, think this is going to work, then put it out there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why are you waiting so dang long?
Exactly. This does not tell me that they were confident throughout the entire course of the production of this movie. That is the part that makes me afraid, is that I know they weren't confident about it.
Right, and hopefully that doesn't come across on the screen, but, here it is. So you'll probably be seeing that in your movie theater lobbies starting this weekend.
Okay, great.
Okay, so moving on to another story that we kind of talked about way back when, and I thought, okay, it had died off like so many other things we cover. So apparently the updated Rats of Nim CG live-action hybrid movie is still moving forward.
Okay. Tell me about this.
Okay, so this movie now has a director. This is going to be James Madigan. Now, he hasn't directed anything himself before. He's done second unit work on the upcoming giant shark movie Meg, which I've actually been hearing good things about. So that's one thing there. But this is his directorial debut.
So this article you're looking at right now says it finds a new director, meaning it had a director before?
For a second, but now we've got this guy.
See, that's when you tell me, oh, they're still moving forward, this tells me they're stalling. This makes me afraid for that movie.
Oh, yeah, I didn't say you shouldn't be afraid. You should.
Yeah,
Because there's only so much you can do with these things, especially when you hear the words new direction. Because, granted, I remember watching the original in, like, 3rd grade or something like that, and being scared as hell, especially when Miss Brisby there, she's in the, when she's trying to get out of the cage, and she's kind of like,
which by the way, they have to call her Miss Frisbee now. Because the original novel, Rats of Nim, instead of Secrets of Nim, called her Miss Frisbee, but you couldn't call her Miss Frisbee back in the day because of Frisbees.
Yeah, so they changed it to Brisbee.
But now we're sticking with Frisbee, I guess.
Yeah, so hopefully, we'll get some more out of this too.
Yeah, I don't know if I want it. Well, we'll see.
I don't know if I want it. Okay, so going back to talking about this weekend with the Super Bowl, we've also gotten our first taste of the Super Bowl spot for Ghost in the Shell. Of course, the live-action adaptation, which will also be coming out in March, starring Scarlett Johansson. This teaser that they're showing there, this Super Bowl trailer, is actually using the music from the original anime movie.
Which we knew they were already using in some capacity because of that launch event that happened in Tokyo. They did that live performance of that music, of course, which was really friggin' amazing if you ask me.
Yes.
Again, we can talk back and forth about the casting decisions day and night, and I totally understand that, but these visuals put together with the audio are making me really hope and pray that, man, could this actually be the good one? The good
This is
anime.
the one. Is this going to be the
Is
one?
this the one that's going to be the good
Because
anime
especially,
movie
one,
adaptation?
you've got the soundtrack, the original soundtrack playing in the background.
Mm-hmm.
2, the visuals are matching up with the original movie quite well. And then 3, you friggin' showed me the multi-peg weapon. It's there, the tank. I can see the tank shooting at the Major. Thank you. I thought you guys were going to wuss out on me, but good, you didn't.
So I'm trying not to get my hopes up
I'm trying.
too high, because as soon as you do that, then we're going to see something that disappoints us, and then we're going to be coming back to you going, guys, oh no, it's not what they made you think it was. So I'm trying to just be like, it's a possibility, we're going to go see it, and we're going to find out, alright? So we're going to talk about that later.
Right.
Once it comes out. It comes out, what, March?
Yes, in
also
March.
in March, okay.
I think it's a week off from Power Rangers.
Okay, great.
Oh man, that would be terrible if they were the same weekend.
Oh no.
That would be terrible.
No, we would have to do a double feature then, wouldn't we?
Oh yeah, we would.
Yeah, let's just do that if that ends up.
Okay, so another bit of information. So we had talked to you guys before about the Sailor Moon R movie, which has been premiering around the country. So as of earlier today, or really within the last 24 hours, Viz Media has updated their website showing that there are multiple theaters that are opening up in different cities, which will allow you, if you haven't had the chance yet, to go ahead and check out this new dub of the Sailor Moon R movie. We just found out that we're getting a showing tomorrow night.
Finally, Lamo San Antonio.
And
Jeez.
actually, we can watch that tomorrow night, can't we?
Yeah, we can now. Yeah, our night opened up, so we can go see. We should see the one with the dub, specifically because this movie's been out for a while.
Right.
Most people have already seen it with subs. You don't need to see it with subs. What's more impressive is to see what Viz did with the new dubs. Because you'll remember, our older dubs back in the day weren't exactly amazing.
They left something to be desired.
Yeah, I know some people got really, really attached to those dubs. I get that. I totally get that. What we want to see is how different it is, and whether or not those differences are good or bad. So that's going to be my goal anyway. Let's find the one that's the dub, and let's go to that one.
All right, so yes, definitely check out Viz's website to see if there's any opened theaters near you that will be showing the movie.
Yes.
And then the last bit of news we got here in the Tokusatsu corner will be in regards to Kamen Rider Exade. So I know a lot of cosplayers have been waiting for this. Bandai Premium finally decided, okay, if you guys want it, we'll sell it to you. The GameScope, which is the device that the doctors in the series use to detect whether or not someone has game disease. This will be going on sale later on this year. Pre-orders are up now at several different locations. Should be retailing for generally about $65 American.
Jeez, are you kidding me?
It ain't cheap.
For that thing.
Yeah, it's
also, how big is this? Because I remember you were
It's
talking...
life size. It's life size.
Okay, because I remember you were talking about making it, and I was always concerned, yeah, but if they end up making it, it's probably going to be child toy size. So
no,
this is adult size?
This is Bandai Premium, so it's not a toy.
I guess
and
that almost makes sense for being $65.
It also has a kind of light display feature where if you kind of shine it on the wall, it'll act like it does in the show, where it does the little screen that shows whether or not you have game disease.
So I can tell whether or not the wall has game disease.
Yes, you can tell whether or not the wall or somebody wearing a white shirt has game disease.
Great. Thank you, Bandai. This is exactly what I needed for $65.
Yes.
Like, I'm fine with it existing, just not for $65. But that's Bandai
I'm still going to try and
you.
make it for less than 10.
Okay.
Because I don't have $65 for that.
Exactly.
I'll spend it on a belt.
Exactly.
But I don't know. I'm going to try and find a cheaper way.
All right, cool.
All right, so that's all our follow-ups for the evening. Let's go ahead and get right into our stories.
So I hate doing this, and again, hate doing this on the last show for the season, but this is important. Let's go ahead and talk about Sir John Hurt. Who passed away earlier within the week. This was, January 25th he passed away. And let's first talk about, not that this is sad, because it is sad, but again, I want to put positive spins on most of the times where we talk about someone who has passed away. Because, gosh, his work was so prolific. It's just that I am admittedly someone who does not keep up very well with names of actors. I kind of don't care about names of actors as much as maybe I should, right? But the thing is, I never realize how often I have seen an actor until somebody says, hey, do you know this actor's name? No, why should I? Yes, he was in this, that, and the other thing, and I realize, oh my god, I knew him for way more than I understood I knew him for. Just sprawling through his massive career, his filmography is just so full. Like, he just never stopped working. That's what's so impressive about it.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, being classically trained like he was, he put out so many incredible performances over the years. I can't stop to think of, I'm just running through all the performances that I've seen him in my head.
So he's been
years.
in things that even I've reviewed. For example, Mr. Mole and Thumbelina. Also in Watership Down. So these are things that I'd had either I personally reviewed or had request reviewed. So he popped up voice acting and stage acting and
he was the voice of Aragorn in Lord of the Rings.
Aragorn in Lord of the Rings, absolutely. The chest-bursted guy out of Kane in Alien, and thus reoccurred that very comically in Spaceballs.
Yes.
Ollivander throughout the Harry Potter films, so it goes on and on and on. And television, my God, so much television appearances also.
So much theater, and of course I guess you could say recently in the grand scheme of things, he was the War Doctor in Doctor Who for the Day of the Doctor special several years back. So
there's still 5 things on his list here that he already filmed that will be releasing later this year posthumously. He worked so much, he still has 5 things lined up that he's in. All the way up until his passing. How old was he? He was in his 70s, right?
Yes.
Yes?
77.
77. So just imagine that, working from 1962 all the way up until now, practically non-stop. Didn't miss hardly a year of work for anything. I can only hope that I can live my life that full, say that I did the most I could possibly do with all of my life that I am given. I want to live exactly like Sir John Hurt. Maybe not as an actor, but
I'll do it.
Well, then do it, Josh.
Because the thing about it is, when you get somebody that prolific, that just gifted to be able to convey story, to convey feeling, and just even for his age and on, like, I remember him as Kane, as a kid, you remember, oh my God, he's the guy who went first. But, just that, I loved the gravel in his voice, because he had this very authentic, like, I'm doing it badly right now, but you would recognize it, and it was surprisingly soothing, for lack of a better way of putting it. There, when in Hellboy, as Dr. Brutenholm, Hellboy's dad, he plays it so well. Playing to Ron Perlman there as Hellboy, and the thing about it is, I know he died in one of the movies, but now it's like if I try to go back and watch that, it's gonna feel even worse because I already sat through that once.
Yeah, I get that.
But then just the same, if I watch him in a movie like V for Vendetta and watch him die off there, then I'm like, good, he deserved it because he made you believe, man, that guy was really like the worst parts of that character he was playing, which is very relevant in times today. But the thing about it is, he did several roles like that over the years where you can watch the performance and still appreciate it decades later. You can pull
it away from him as a person because he put himself into his roles so perfectly and made you believe he was this different person every single time.
Yes, absolutely.
That is the mark of a very well-trained professional actor.
Yes, I remember one of the last things I saw, because I didn't realize he was in it until I saw it, was a Snowpiercer, and he's great in Snowpiercer. I think it's still on Netflix. If you guys have the chance, definitely go check that out. But he always carried this inner regalness to him. It wasn't just the accent; it was the way he carried himself.
Yes,
and he brought that to each of the roles. Hell, like, I can't even hardly get mad at him for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
It's not his fault that
no,
movie
it's
bad.
It's not his fault, but God bless him, he's trying. In that one.
You say God bless him as if he did a bad job.
No, it's just he was working with what he had.
Yeah, just like everybody else was in that movie, pretty much. I am almost not even mad at Shia LaBeouf in that movie. It's not his fault the movie was bad.
Yeah, it's not
I'm
his
just
fault.
mad at him for all kinds of other things.
No, he's doing better now.
Oh, he's doing better.
He's doing better.
Okay. Well, I know we're off topic.
Off topic, yeah. But yes, and of course, him as the War Doctor. Like, I remember running home because I had to work that day because I was right around November, and I was in retail at the time, and I was so hyped for this special. Like, I had it recorded, and I'm like, nobody talked to me. I've turned my phone off. I don't want anything spoiling this. I ran in there and immediately started watching. I got about maybe 10-15 minutes in. My brother comes in. Hey, what are you doing? Dude, shut up. I'm rewinding this thing and you're watching it with me. He's like, what is it? It's the 50th anniversary. Oh, okay, yeah, rewind it. And we sit there spellbound watching this. And we know, looking back on things, that he was supposed to be the Ninth Doctor. They wrote that specifically to be him. And it was hard at the time to watch it and realize, oh man, we're getting kind of a knockoff here. Mm-hmm. But then the more I rewatch it, because I did rewatch it several times because I really liked it, I appreciated his performance more and more because he was still trying to bring his take on the character here.
Yes,
He's a fill-in in between, and he made it his. And, you know, just like you were saying, he brought that little bit into everything he did. Granted, I haven't seen all the Harry Potter movies, but, you know, he's an important role there. He gives Harry his wand.
It's an experience that everybody wants to have when they say go to World of Harry Potter in
and of course,
Universal.
Same
that
thing
you get
that
to go to Ollivanders, and you want that experience that he gives
to Harry
on screen.
And of course, that same thing that happened when we reported on Alan Rickman. Of course, that was the first thing people did. Was they went to the Wizarding World and held.
Oh, I can't imagine what that must be like down there in Wizarding World.
You can look up the pic. Same thing happened.
Same thing happened. Okay,
people immediately showed up and wands in the air.
Oh my God! Yeah, I bet.
Absolutely,
this is the probably
wand.
around the Ollivanders that they've got built out there. Yeah, for sure. I'd absolutely bet money on it that they did that. Even before you told me, I would bet. Yeah.
Well, they did, and they were out there, and they were paying their respects, and so that's what we're doing now.
Exactly.
So, again, like you're saying, you know, we don't want to reflect sadly upon this, even though, yes, it is a loss. But by that same token, there's so much rich work that he's done over the years. Like, just go on Netflix, go on Amazon, go look up some of this guy's work. The Elephant Man, 1984. Just look up this guy's filmography and just start watching from anywhere. I don't think you can hardly find a good. I don't think he's done bad performances.
He himself. No.
No, because
things that he has participated in. Maybe. But even Thumbelina's kind of like it has its moments. And
there's nothing wrong with him.
And unfortunately, Mr. Mole was not my favorite character in that film. But that is not his fault.
No.
It's totally not his fault.
So, yes, of course, we got to keep moving with the show. But, Sir Hurt, you will be missed. And thank you for all the wonderful work you've done.
Thank you, sir, very much. We do want to move on. I always hate the mood whiplash it always feels like we're having to do because that's the nature of our show.
Just take a breath. All right, and we move on.
So, yes, we move on to talk about, just a couple days ago, Square Enix had a very large unveiling of their Final Fantasy 30th anniversary and all kinds of things that they were planning on doing over the course of the year. So, I don't have a lot of images for all of these things, but I do want to talk about some of them. You're looking at something right now, though.
Because this is the funniest thing that got pointed out to me that I would almost collect.
So friggin' dumb. They're available for pre-order.
Okay, so if you guys remember,
who here is eating cup noodle? Somebody in here earlier was eating cup noodle.
Okay, so like, you know how back during the prequels, how Pepsi had those limited edition cans that had the characters on them, and some people were collecting them. I know my brother and I were trying to do that until ants got into the house. So for Final Fantasy, this 30th anniversary, Cup Noodle is putting out a limited edition boss collection. Of cup noodle cups that have the
15 of these things.
15 of these things. The bosses of each individual numeric series game. Like if you want to eat a cup of Kefka, you can do that.
That sounds kind of bizarre.
If you want to slurp some Sephiroth, you can do that.
Oh my God, please never say that ever again. Never, ever say that ever again. So what's also funny, I think if you scroll down, I don't know if there's a picture of it in the article that you have, but you see this thing, they're selling.
It's 2 feet long.
A limited edition Omega Weapon fork. That is 2 feet long. I can't show you this picture right now. I don't have it up. But they're showing the size difference for comparison to an actual, like, a fork that would make more sense to use.
Here's a banana for comparison.
Yeah, this friggin' fork for comparison. You can now buy this Ultima Weapon fork to eat with your cup noodles. What?
Don't lie to me. You would use it.
No, you can't. My spoon is too big.
Yeah, but my fork is awesome.
My spoon is too big. No, you can't use that thing. This fork is like 2 feet long. Okay.
I want to use the 2-foot-long fork.
I'm gonna drop in here another picture that I just pulled up, so it's gonna look kind of awkward for a second. But there we go.
So then we got this.
Here's some. All this is key art, mind you guys. This means nothing, but they're like
the prettiest wallpaper.
Hey, we remember we're working on Final Fantasy VII and that it exists. So here's Final Fantasy VII Remake. They just released this key image of Cloud in front of Midgar and Sephiroth behind it, and everyone's like, "Yay! I'm so excited! We haven't seen footage in 2 years. We haven't seen footage in 2 years.
Oh my God, you're pissed. You don't do that, but you did that.
2 years. I'm telling you that they want to.
They're not done with this."
They want to release this key art footage as if it actually means something. It doesn't mean jack. And then they released this other image from Kingdom Hearts that's of Sora standing there with his keyblade behind his back as he stands in front of some...
Wait, was it Sora or was it Aqua?
No, it was Sora.
Okay.
As he stands in front of just some random Disney-esque house.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's supposed to be the cover of Final Fantasy VII. And they're like, "Happy 20th anniversary, Final Fantasy VII." And I'm just sitting here like, yeah, would sure be great if you, like, released information about your damn game. That would be amazing. But they didn't. So
you guys just released a picture related to the thing that you aren't working on. Good job, Square. You did as much work as Arby's this week.
Wow. Cold.
Not like the sandwich, though.
Not like the sandwich, though.
The sandwich is lukewarm.
Yes.
So there's that, but there were other things that they announced this week that were a little bit interesting. Some things that I think maybe got them in trouble. Is that one way of looking at it?
That is one way of looking at it. I kind of wish I actually had this image right now. I might have it somewhere and might be able to pull it up. Actually, yes, I can pull it up for you guys for just a second. So they had a bunch of information about Final Fantasy 15 and about a bunch of updates they were doing. So the 21st is when they were supposed to do this one particular thing. It goes along with the release of additional stuff for Gladio. He's supposed to get his own side spin-off thing. Ignis is supposed to get... No, Prompto, excuse me. Prompto's gonna get his own spin-off thing come June. But February 21st was supposed to be... That is very important that I say supposed to be. When we got this thing. This
Magitech Exosuit. Now, we'll wait a second while you guys think for a bit about what that looks like. Don't worry, we'll wait.
Yeah, so, clearly, if you ever wanted to get your Power Rangers on inside of a Final Fantasy game, this was going to be the way to do it. And they were going to drop it as a free update for us on February 21st.
Yeah, that's not happening.
And it was going to give you 30 minutes of being invincible. Invincible! Alright?
Yeah, that's not happening the way they wanted it to.
So now that's not happening. In fact, I need to write an article about this later for Tokusatsu Network. But just yesterday, in a letter from the developer, which means a video, actually, it's not a real letter. So Tabata, the director Tabata, and some other guy he was sitting with, I don't know who that guy was, said, "So we were about to release this, but we got word from the guys who own the rights to Power Rangers," and they specifically say Power Rangers, mind you, not Super Sentai.
So it wasn't Toei.
So it wasn't Toei. It had to have either been
Saban
or possibly Lionsgate, considering they've got the movie about to come up.
But let's be real, it was Saban.
So they said, so the guys who own the license to Power Rangers said there might be an issue because they look a little too much like Power Rangers, and now we can't release this until we change the design a little bit so it doesn't look like Power Rangers. Thanks, Saban, as usual, because I'm pretty positive it's Saban.
Because they already did this with Chroma Squad.
They did it with Chroma Squad.
They bullied Chroma Squad into making it about them. Yeah, and that's terrible. Yeah, exactly. It's 40 cakes terrible. And so, yeah, we might have been looking forward to this. Like, I didn't play 15. I watched you play it. But this would have been the thing that would have been like, okay, this is slightly up my alley. Oh.
You would have only been interested for 30 minutes anyway, though.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
That's about my... my scope of how far I was going to play anyway.
But Final Fantasy 15 is getting a whole bunch of other updates, other little updates. They want to treat this like this game is not dead. So even
Please keep playing our game.
Please don't stop buying our game. Yeah, so they're going to raise the level cap from level 99 to level 120. They're going to finally, on March 28th, make improvements to Chapter 13, the chapter that was all long and linear and kind of terabad.
Like Final Fantasy 13?
Like Final Fantasy 13, yes. And they're talking about, so hey, they got a specific question asking, hey, are we going to be able to just download that update and then load into Chapter 13 so that we don't have to play the whole game all over again? And Tabata goes, yeah, we're looking into that. So he's trying.
They didn't think about it.
They're not really thinking.
So
they don't know how to do that.
So they'll fix it, but you'd have to start over.
Possibly. We don't know yet. And then finally, they're also trying to figure out how to get an off-road version of the Regalia, as in the car will finally be able to be free-driven and not just on the roads. He said he wants to make it so that the car can travel the entire world.
Yeah.
So
but
that would have been a lot better a long time ago.
Yeah, if you had thought about that before launch.
Yeah, that would have been so much better.
That you would have been able to travel the whole world.
Because the entire time I'm just... And then I went and made myself some cup noodles. And, I wasn't looking at the screen, and it just did it for me for the next, 7 minutes.
Autopilot.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that would have been really helpful sooner. So, other things that were announced, we got the release date for Final Fantasy XII, The Zodiac Age. That's the remake or remaster of Final Fantasy XII.
And that's on Steam, correct?
No, this will be PS4.
PS4, okay.
I don't believe it's coming with a PC version, but it's coming out in North America on July 11th. And in Europe on July 11th, and not coming out in Japan until July 13th. I don't know why there's a 2-day delay for Japan for that, but screw them, we rule. I don't mean that. I am joking. Please don't ever keep me from coming into your country. So Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood, that's the next expansion for Final Fantasy XIV. It's coming out on June 20th, and also we're getting one of those real escape events.
Yes, we were talking about this before the show.
Initially, it was only going to be in Japan, but turns out it's going to be international. In fact, we're getting one coming to Houston later on this year. So we're going to have to, you team up in teams of 6, and you try and save the world and escape from Bahamut. So that sounds kind of intense. I don't really know what that's going to look like, but I'm interested to find out more.
Don't take me. Because I'm going to ruin it.
Why?
Because as soon as I see Bahamut, you know what I'm going to say.
What?
Kaylin.
What?
I'm going to ride him.
Oh my god, no.
I'm going to ride Bahamut.
No, don't do that. And then we've learned a little bit more information about this other television show that we knew about before, but we only knew so much about it before.
Yes, so this is a series based off a father and son who are bonding by playing 14 online. And this is being called, the translated title would be Final Fantasy 14, The Father of Light. And the son of the series is being played by Yudai Chiba, who fans of Super Sentai would know as Gosei Red. He's also in the movie Mr. Maxman over there in Japan. I think the sequel just came out recently, or if it hasn't, it's about to. So that applies to me. I like dramas already, and I already recognize that actor. So I would sit there and watch that, and I already played a little bit of 14, so I would get this.
Yeah. So, other little interesting bits of information. Cloud is going to show up in Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. That's one of the mobile titles. There's a 30th campaign for Brave Exvius. Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omina starts up in Japan on February 1st, and Aerith is coming to it. That's their arcade version of the fighting game,
yes.
Dissidia.
And she will still be voiced by Maya Sakamoto, who's been voicing her since Advent Children.
Mobius Final Fantasy is getting Sephiroth, so it's another mobile
Actually, no,
game.
I take it back. She's been doing it since Kingdom Hearts.
Yes. There's going to be a new manga series. There's going to be there's the Sapporo Snow Festival, which had Final Fantasy VII themed snow sculptures. There's a Final Fantasy fashion line that's about to come out. An art exhibition on the 30th anniversary of Final Fantasy is taking place for some reason in 2018 that makes no sense at all whatsoever, but they're doing it. Balthier from Final Fantasy XII is going to be showing up as a summonable character in World of Final Fantasy. And there were tons of other little tiny things that they announced left and right. And funny enough, they did not much talk about that big ol' edition of Final Fantasy 1 through 9 or Final Fantasy 1 through 15 coming in that big boxed collection that was rumored to come out. That did not get talked about a whole lot. So, plenty of other things that we can totally talk about post-show, should you guys want to continue to talk about this later. For now, we definitely gotta move on.
Right.
So much Final Fantasy, and none of it is especially exciting. It is just kind of strangely...
There's just a lot of little.
A lot of little, exactly. So we will move on, finally, to GameStop, which is not ever anything I actively want to be talking about. I always have very deep-seated regret every time I realize I need to shop from GameStop because I don't have some other option. I am very sad that my pre-order of the Nintendo Switch is through GameStop because I didn't have another option at that given moment in time because they just went so fast. I am very, very sad about it. So I will tell you guys why I am further sad. Because...
This is a story coming out of Kotaku that came up earlier this week about some of the business practices that GameStop is using specifically amongst its employees as far as promoting the selling of resale games. Correct?
Resale games and resale consoles, yes. So basically, you might be aware that GameStop is tremendously aggressive when it comes to the buying of pre-owned stuff. I used to work at EB Games, and this was right after GameStop purchased EB Games. So we started implementing some of their systems, and they started implementing some of ours. It was at that moment that they started pushing real hard. You gotta push pre-owned. You gotta push pre-owned, not new, because we make all of our money on pre-owned. That's how GameStop lives. They don't make money on new stuff. They make money on pre-owned. So there are people talking about the Circle of Life program, which apparently began late last year, but really got up to speed early this year. And it cites a specific score that these employees get at each store. I think most people have heard about just how bad their superiors at GameStop push for these numbers and these numbers and all these metrics that they have to meet, right,
yes,
in order to retain their job. It's been noted in the news tons of times just how miserable employees at GameStop, employees at GameStop really are. So they've got all these metrics where now if they don't sell enough pre-owned, that really doesn't look good for them. So take, for example, there's a quote from a particular employee who was, I don't believe they were named, which would be really smart because...
Yeah, you would want to remain anonymous when talking about this.
So take, for example, this person says, "We are telling people that we don't have new systems in stock, so we won't take a $300 or $400 hit on our pre-owned numbers." And yeah, they requested anonymity. They wanted to be anonymous. They don't want nobody knowing who they is.
Thank you.
This is company-wide and in discussion with my peers. It is a common practice. We also tell customers we don't have copies of new games in stock when they are on sale. For example, Watch Dogs 2 is currently $29.99 new and $54.99 pre-owned. We just tell them we don't have the new one in stock and shuffle them out of the door.
That's the definition of a dick move.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Now, I get it. You know, you're trying to...
That's really bad that the employees are doing that. But GameStop also is like, well, we're going to put this noose around your neck and drop the trap door out from under your feet if you don't do it. So, but earlier today, GameStop is going, whoa, we swear we're not asking people to do this. So they sent out this big old memo saying, and they specifically cite Kotaku as being the source of where all this fear is coming from, basically. In the article, there were behaviors described that indicated our Circle of Life program placed pressure on store associates to mislead customers on the value of certain products. Let me be clear on this. Nothing could be further from the truth. You and I know at GameStop it is absolutely our mission to help our customers get the best advice and price on any product we sell through buying, trading, pre-ordering, and earning points. And it kind of goes on and on from there. Very long. This Tony individual who is part of GameStop corporate really wanted to ensure that his ass was covered in this.
Yeah, but the thing about it is you can cover it, but if you've got one of them old-timey pajama bottoms with the butt flap, your butt only stays so covered so long.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the thing about it is, we're all people in the modern age. Mm-hmm. A lot of people work jobs that they would rather not. A lot of people we know work at GameStop. And they talk. And the thing is, they will talk on the internet. Mm-hmm. And this information will get around. So no matter how much you try to do your PR spin on the thing that you're trying to put forward, we'll hear from it ourselves, from somebody who's there in the company, working for the corporation. Hey, this is what's going on. Some of that stuff you're hearing is true. So the thing about it, yes, a company's job, a corporation's job is to protect their bottom line. Mm-hmm. And bottom line is don't talk. But but the thing about it is we'll find out. If you're trying to hide something, we will find it. And we will know and we will tell other people. And that won't look good.
Yeah.
Because if you guys could be a little bit more honest about how things work, maybe, if you didn't try so hard about that, you wouldn't need those metrics if you had a better business model.
Exactly, yes. And we all know, regardless of whether or not I got this...
Why you always lie.
Regardless of whether or not we got this from Kotaku, that doesn't matter. GameStop actually responded because the information was at least partly true, at least about what their Circle of Life program was. And we all know for a fact, regardless of whether or not we pulled this from Kotaku, that GameStop does not have a fantastic reputation anyway. So regardless, if it's not true, it sure as hell is believable, and the fact that GameStop actually responded makes them sound even less trustworthy. Because like this was just paragraphs and paragraphs of nuh-uh guys, no.
Because we know what the cycle of life is there. Somebody tries to sell a game. They offer it for a miserable price. Somebody will take that price and then they resell it at twice the price to try and get their money back. So in that sense, the circle of crap is complete. Please notice that I made a box.
Yes.
If you guys try to cover it, I don't think we're buying it.
Exactly.
From you at GameStop.
I would rather not. If I can avoid it. That is about as much time as we had to cover that. But again, I would definitely like to keep talking about this. Should that be something that you guys want to continue to talk about in our post show? This is where we're going to have to wrap it up for the season. So, thank you guys so much, as always, for coming out to see us every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Central. I hope you'll stick around for the next half an hour so that we can do our Q&A time with all of you. This is the last opportunity you're going to get for a month. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube and you're not watching this live, you're just watching the video of it later, thank you so much for watching also. But I hope you'll come back out to us in March, at the beginning of March. We're going to be back on, again, Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Central Time. So I hope you'll join us, because that's going to be the only way you get to hang out and do the Q&A portion and hang out with all these cool, awesome people who would be more than happy to start up conversations with you also.
Yes, and of course, during the break, you can always talk to us over on social media. On Twitter, I'm at JoshKnightFirst.
And I'm at MarsGirl.
And for this season of Beyond the Black Rims, we say to you all good night, and we will see you guys in a month.
Thanks, guys, and take a look at this advertising that keeps us on the air. Bye!
Take it away, Danny.
Danny is a young sci-fi writer living in the UK. Everything was going great until one day he was captured by a beautiful woman, terrifyingly hot. Her name is Morphine, and she'll make you scream. Get ready for your adrenaline shot, 'cause she locked him up in the basement. She tortures him day and night, whips and chains and moans and pain. She forces him to write amazing sci-fi stories and release them to the world. It's Danny, the writer boy, and Morphine is Mistress Girl.
No, not that one.
Where are we?
We're in space. Yeah, there we go.
That was some Star Trek stuff right there. You gotta teleport in.
Moonbeam, you're not leaving, are you? Like, we say this every night. We're here another half hour. Don't leave. Where are you going? Don't go.
Going back.
They're sad they're not going to be able to hear the song for another month.
Oh, well, maybe you'll just have to go over to Danny's site.
Yeah, go see Danny.
Yeah.
Where are you pre-ordering Mass Effect Andromeda from? Well, I'm not sure if I'm pre-ordering it yet, but I would like to. Maybe I should. And if
Amazon, probably.
It's gonna start being from Amazon from this point forward, pretty much. Have you guys checked out NBC's Powerless show? I don't
think it's premiered. Did it premiere yet? I know it's coming up. If it wasn't this week, it's like next week or something like that. I'll probably give the first episode a shot, but beyond that, I don't have very high hopes for it.
Yeah. Thoughts on the upcoming Legion show?
I really don't know what to think of it because I dig the advertising, and admittedly I'm not as big of an X-Men fan as a lot of other people are. But looking at it, it looks interesting enough as somebody who's just a fan of media, of a new show coming out. It looks interesting enough to start watching. I just can't tell watching it, and maybe this is what they're going for with their advertising, that it's a superhero show because it doesn't look like one. So maybe that'll work in their favor, but that'll remain to be seen. It looks interesting enough. I dig some of the cast. It'll be interesting to see Aubrey Plaza doing something different on there. So yeah, I would give that a shot once it premieres.
Cool. Do you think we'll see Carnage before Venom is in the MCU?
In the MCU. That depends on whether or not they want to go ahead and push Cletus Cassidy. If they want to do a fresh slate, they could try and rework it like they did in some of the Spider-Man video games. But canonically, you can't have Carnage without Venom. So it's kind of a risk there. They could do it, but that would be at the sacrifice of something canonical.
Were there any accessories at the Nintendo booth while you were at PAX? Yeah, they had one thing there. It's not the Pro controller. It's that controller that allows the Joy-Cons to slide inside of it. And so then you have like a full controller. But even that controller, when I slid, and they slide in very satisfyingly, and they hold very sturdily, even that controller felt way small. Felt smaller than those newer, rebuilt Xbox One controllers. Smaller than that. And my hands felt pretty close together. They weren't touching, but they were pretty close together. Now, granted, our hands are about the same size, right?
Yeah, thereabouts, yeah.
Like, my middle finger is like a quarter of an inch longer.
Maybe,
than yours.
yeah.
So, I don't know if that's any real indication, as I am a larger person than you, period. So, I don't know. That was a really small controller, but that was the only accessory that they had there, aside from also the straps. I don't know if you would call that an accessory, really. Any Super Bowl plans? Well,
not to watch.
Yeah, not to watch. Our original plan was to do some streaming during it. Not 100% positive if that will be a thing or not yet, because we've potentially been invited to a cookout that day which I don't know whether or not is actually a Super Bowl party. It's just a cookout that's on Super Bowl Sunday over at this guy's place.
Yeah, so we'll that barbecue.
Yeah,
the plan is barbecue.
The plan is potentially barbecue.
Yeah.
Out of the Neo-Heisei period of Kamen Rider fights, which one was your favorite?
Well, for any of the second phase Heisei, really, fights have only been so great over the last couple of years. I've liked most of the stuff I've seen in Exade, but there hasn't been that one fight that was like, oh my god, it was that. Mm-hmm. That was the fight that got me like, ooh. Because, you know, I'm trying really hard right now to think of a fight where I was like, oh yeah, that was a fight that I really enjoyed. Story-wise, probably some of my favorite fights were at the beginning there with Double, specifically against Eternal, and then anything Skull did in the movie Wars, both of them. And then after that, it's just kind of, You know, it's... I wish they would invest a little bit more in the art of choreographing a scene like Garo would, because I can totally tell you a fight from Garo I liked, you know, depending on the season.
Yeah. Are you guys gonna get the Road to Boruto DLC coming out tomorrow for Storm 4? You know, I haven't played a Naruto fighting game in I don't know how long, but they did all used to be so much fun.
Yeah.
Used to be, but I haven't played one in years. So the answer's no. But, you know, I mean, I would try it if I was still playing those Naruto games, and it's not like I stopped playing them because I didn't think they were good. It's just I didn't keep up with Naruto either, so it didn't matter as much. Thoughts on Power Rangers Ninja Steel and the new Pink Ranger Sarah Thompson? We still haven't watched any of Ninja Steel.
Yeah, and that's part of the whole reason why we go on break, is that while we're doing this show, we miss out on shows. So that'll be one of the things we catch up on. I think they're only 2 episodes in at this point, or they will be by this weekend. So I can't say we've gotten to know any of them just yet, because we haven't watched the episode, but definitely ask us over on Twitter, and we'll get back to you on that.
Is Knuckles dead or alive? Knuckles is in Dead or Alive now?
Oh, what?
I don't know if that was the right answer
DLC
to that
for
question.
Dead or Alive confirmed.
What Final Fantasy title would you like to see get a big budget remake like 7? Well, 1, none of them. 2, if I had to pick gun to my head, I think it would be 6.
I was going to say 6.
Because they've tried to redo 6, but they did it with really ugly sprites and really bad remakes of the music, and it was just plain bad. So, but all the same, I hope they never try to remake any of the Final Fantasies ever again, because this is not the right Square to be doing it anymore.
Yeah.
It's too late now. It's way too late now. What are your thoughts on liking and disliking on ads before we watch our regular videos? Like, what's the point of that, right? Whether or not I like or I dislike the ad, I dislike that the ads are there. But if I hit dislike, they're just going to give me a different ad. They're not going to take the ads away. So I'm just not going to click anything.
Yeah, so that's not going to work.
Yeah. How are you both doing today? I'm okay.
I'm a little tired.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Alright, thank you for asking. How are you? Have you seen the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers plushies from Funko?
Yes.
I haven't seen them. There's plushies now?
Yeah.
Are they movie plushies, or are they,
they're
Mighty Morphin, huh?
Yeah, but I think they're also coming out with some movie ones, too.
I see.
They exist.
For the fashion line based on Final Fantasy, are they focusing on one game or doing like pieces from all the games? I think it's closer to pieces from all the games. But they didn't exactly show a lot of it. They just said, this is a thing we're doing. And we then swear.
More information later.
Please look forward to it, because that's what they always say.
Yeah.
They don't commit very hard to anything they do. They just, I think somebody in Square just sits in their office and goes, hey, you know what would be a cool idea? And then somebody else goes, that would be a cool idea. And then they don't do anything. They just release all of these articles of, we think this would be fun.
You mean like good ideas on weed?
On weed.
You know what we should totally do, man? We should start up like a fashion line. Yeah. Yeah, let's do that, man. We need.
You know what would be another cool idea?
What, man?
Final Fantasy VII made so much money, and it always makes so much money. But if we made it again, they'd buy it again.
Oh man, yeah, we should do that.
Oh man, I'm hungry. Oh, you know what would be a great idea?
Cup noodles.
Oh.
Oh man, what if, like, okay, hold on. 7, right? What if the fork was like a sword? Oh.
And notice the stuff about the food actually got made. Okay?
Yeah, like, that sounds like a stoner argument, but, like, that sounds like exactly what they did.
Yeah, the food got made. The food got made. The games did not
The food got made before the games. They got distracted by the food. Oh my god, they're on weed.
They're on weed and no one has arrested them yet because if they got arrested, Japan would lock them away forever. Because they have the harshest drug penalties ever. We have not been answering questions. Oh my god. Which Final Fantasy game would you rather have Square whore out than 7, 13, or 15? 9!
9.
100% all the way. 9.
Yes.
Did you see that they announced the cast for Marvel's Runaways show today?
Yes, I did see that, but I have never read Runaways, so I can't weigh in on it very much.
How do you think Doctor Who Series 10 is going to go? It could go anywhere.
It could go anywhere.
Literally go
like
anywhere now.
I can believe, but I've been believing for the last 2 years, and that's kind of why I got into this funk with Capaldi. I like him as the Doctor, I really do. I just wish they gave him something to work with. Really, to me anyway. I know he said his piece about why he's leaving. But part of it, I imagine, had to be on some level a bit of frustration. Like, man, you guys have been dicking me around for like 2 years now, and I've barely gotten to play him. And you keep taking all these breaks, and the show was more about Clara up until now, and you know, I'm gonna just go. All right, you guys have fun.
You guys figure this crap out without me.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll see a Deca Master fig art?
It will be quite some time until Fig Arts decides to put out more Super Sentai Fig Arts, because if you'll notice, they kind of stopped.
Josh, what are your picks for the next Doctor? See, I don't know a whole lot of British actors to begin with, so...
See, like, I was having a hard time with it myself, trying to figure out, well, who do I like? But probably one of the funniest ones that I liked, and I actually thought about it, and, like, if he did it right, it'd be awesome. Richard Aoyade would probably be an amazing Doctor. Like, real talk.
Okay, I don't know who that is. Okay. Let's see. How do the Joy-Cons feel size-wise when holding them individually? See, I was talking about this a little earlier, but it's okay. I'll totally...
They're like the size of an old iPod. The little ones.
The minis, yeah.
The minis.
Kinda, yeah. And, like I was saying earlier, they look super small in pictures and in videos like the ones that we have shared before. But yeah, holding them just feels like you're gonna close your hand all the way up around them, and when you open your hand up again, it's just not gonna be there anymore. They feel really small. Really intensely small. But they feel solid enough. It's just that they feel so small and so light that you're, like, nervous that you're gonna do something to hurt them, even though I really don't think they're that breakable. It's not like they're made out of glass. They're not gonna shatter.
Like, hopefully, they're made of the same Nintendium we've been expecting out of them, but...
Like, I didn't try and throw it on the ground to see what would happen.
Oh, they would have crucified you if you did that.
Oh, they would have, yeah.
But the thing about it is, like, if they're innovating into lightweight Nintendium, they should have told us that.
No, we knew. They told us that we knew.
I'm just saying, it's still, like, I don't trust it yet.
I don't know how I'm gonna feel until I accidentally drop one.
Yeah.
What do you think of Star Wars Episode 8 titled The Last Jedi? We talked about that briefly last week, right?
Yeah, so the title, granted, I thought people were going to make a bigger deal about this, but that they're breaking from tradition that the fourth movie has a certain...
It's a four-word title.
Something of the something.
Yeah.
Or, you know, The Empire Strikes Back. Attack of the Clones. So I was there. I was one of those people expecting it to be a 4-word title, and then it was a 3-word, and I'm like, what have you done to my world? Like, like that threw me off.
That's not big enough for me to be scared of it yet.
But odds are, when we come back, we're shooting at either March or April. Somewhere around there, we should get our first look at what The Last Jedi is going to be. So that'll definitely be one of the major stories we cover starting next season.
Mm-hmm. Who do you think would win, Snipe versus Ryugen?
Snipe. Ryugen's power specifically never convinced me that the Bujo Ryuho, I know how the subs put it up as the grape dragon, which is actually a great translation and pun. It never looked very powerful to me. Whereas Snipe, he's clearly got a better weapon and he's trained in it. Like he's played shooting games and he carries himself better. Like he never tries to hold his gun upside down like Ryugen did. So yeah, Snipe. Absolutely.
Alright, this whole thing is one big quote from the game, but it leads into what I'm assuming is a real question. Any food you make tastes better when you use good ingredients. So if you take something already delicious like cup noodles and add in the finest, freshest ingredients, what do you get? The ultimate flavor experience. So I ask you, Josh, what's your favorite ramen ingredient?
Gun.
What the
There's a gif on Tumblr of somebody adding stuff to ramen, and the last thing they add in is a gun. So
Okay.
that's what I'm quoting. The best flavor you could add to a ramen, a large pizza.
Pizza! Is Siren capable of creating static and getting things stuck to her?
Yes, she is.
She gets staticky, and then she gets, like, offended when I pet her, and you feel the...
discharge.
Yeah, the little... and then she pulls back a little bit, like, what did you do? Like, it's my fault.
Yeah, like we did it
But
to
I don't
her.
tend to stick things
Like we
to
made
her.
the messed up decision.
If it comes out, do you plan on getting the 1 through 9 Master Collection for PS4? Well, I have...
That's up to you.
Yeah, I have all of the games and a means to play all of them right now, so I don't know. It entirely depends on what they do to them or don't do to them. Actually, what they were talking about was releasing for the first time ever in the United States the Famicom version of Final Fantasy III. Not Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy III, which we never got. We did eventually get Final Fantasy III, but it was the DS version that was 3D, had a little bit of voice acting, had the better musical quality, but we never got the Famicom/NES version of that game. So the rumor was that we would be getting that version with an English translation, which I have never finished. So if that would be something they were legally going to finish, then I would do that in a heartbeat. What is this?
It's for the next question.
Okay. Hold on. I don't know what you're doing.
I'm helping.
1, I don't know what the next question is. Final Fantasy gets boss cup noodle set and 2-foot-long fork weapon. Yeah.
Read the question.
Okay, so the question was, is there a link to that 2-foot? Oh yeah, the 2-foot Ultima fork, and can we see it? So here, I'm gonna link it first. Send it along to you guys. If you guys can even click it, I don't know. But then, let me go ahead and drag in... Oh my god, this stupid thing. This is the stupidest thing. I swear, this is so dumb.
You say that now.
Let's drag it on in here. Here you go, guys. The moment you've all been waiting for. It's 2 foot friggin' long. It doesn't fit in the cup, Josh! That's what she said. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. Well, turn your shoulder a little bit. Okay, you know what? I have to put it on top of our faces.
There. Oh. I want it.
It doesn't fit!
It doesn't matter. I want it.
This is a real thing that they really thought needed to get made instead of making Final Fantasy VII Remake or finishing Kingdom Hearts 3. This is a real thing that exists.
But they actually finished it.
Oh my god.
Give them credit for actually finishing something.
No, they didn't need. This was not what we asked for. We didn't ask for this. No. Goodbye. Goodbye.
So yeah, there it is.
If you could get now or have retroactively gotten a Power Rangers 10 years after, what would it be?
Maji Ranger.
No, Power Rangers.
Oh, sorry, right. Because 10 years after made me think the Super Sentai. I don't know that I'd want one for Power Rangers specifically. Like, I'm good.
I don't know. If it was going to be anything, it would probably be the Mighty Morphin, quite frankly. But now it's way too late for that.
Yeah, like, I don't want it.
Josh, did you tell your coworkers about eating a plain sugar donut with mayo?
No, and I don't want to remember that. It's on film, and you can all go watch that over on my channel. But like, I don't want it. That, oh my god.
Theories on who or what Kamen Rider Chronicle might be.
Okay, so like for those of you who don't know, over there in Kamen Rider Exade right now, the bad guy, Kuroto Dan Genmu, he's been touting this game he's been working on called Kamen Rider Chronicle, saying it's going to be the ultimate game that will surpass all games. And we don't know what he's building exactly, whether or not this is like a simulation, or it's going to be an actual Gashot that they use, the transformation device. At this point, it's anybody's guess, but if I had to take a stab in the dark, it's just probably going to be some kind of plot device. It's not going to be an actual really hurtful thing. It might be a Gashot, but really it's going to be like a simulation sort of thing. An excuse to bring back older writers for perhaps the movie. For the summer movie specifically there for Exade. But that's just a shot in the dark right now. It'll be a while before we know what exactly they're referring to.
A favorite Joseph moment. Joseph.
Favorite Joseph moment.
Anytime he smashes a camera.
Okay, there's that.
Anytime he smashes a camera.
Really, I know people hate it, but I love it every time he does. Next thing you're going to say is, and then he calls out whatever his opponent's going to say before they say it. I love that about him.
Why?
Because it like he's being such a dick, but like it works for him.
Yeah, it does. Everything about Joseph works for him because he's best JoJo. I don't care.
He is best JoJo.
Fight me, bro. Fight me. Have you ever experimented through cooking, and what was the successful thing you cooked?
There was that time last...
There has never been a successful cooking moment for me. Every moment I have cooked has failed. Well, maybe not every time, but, most of the time. I'm not a good cook. I can't cook.
There was the time I was telling you, like, a couple of weeks back, I screwed up the macaroni and then I made it better.
Yeah, you did tell me about that. When are we ever gonna get the Cloud amiibo?
When Nintendo feels like it.
When Nintendo and Square feel like working together on that. I don't know. Have you ever watched any of NHK's Taiga dramas? No, I can't
don't
say
think I know what those are.
Yeah, I'm not familiar. I would be interested in learning more about it. Would you have liked it in JoJo if Jonathan had survived to be in Joseph's life as Joseph was in Jotaro's story?
Yeah, because really the whole point of what's the first part again? Phantom Blood, right?
Yeah.
The whole thing of Phantom Blood is the whole time they're just crapping on Jonathan. And, like, I get it.
That whole story, that whole first arc is just, woe is me, my life sucks so bad, and Dio's a douchebag for absolutely no explainable reason. And it made it really insufferable until that dub came out, and the dub is hilarious!
But it works. Like, it's the kind of hilarious it needs to be. Which is kind of the thing. Like, we didn't finish part 3 for, was it Stardust Crusaders? We'll probably finish it now with the dub.
Yeah.
Because it makes it that much more easier to palate.
Yeah, easily.
But the answer would be yes. I actually would have preferred that he stayed alive.
If Drive were ever adapted, what changes do you think would be made? No girls in tiny skirts, probably.
They couldn't get away with it over here.
They need pants.
Yeah, Kyoko would wear pants. aside from that, they'd probably get rid of Kamen Rider June. Really, that's one of those series where I don't think they would have to change much. I think the story would take itself over here quite well if they decided to do it. I don't think anybody will, I'm just saying.
What's up on the Netflix watch list during your break?
Well, right now we're finally starting to catch up on season 2 of Voltron. There's a couple of different movies on there. I gotta go back and catch up on Legends of Tomorrow. I know I didn't catch up on that last season. And then from there, I think I'll be good. It's really more stuff outside of Netflix that we gotta catch up on.
Brave versus Baron?
It's a tie, they both lose.
I don't know. Thoughts on seeing Star Wars Rogue One? Did you like it? Yeah, it was good. I liked it a lot better than any of the prequel movies. So
it was a good time.
Yeah.
We were there with Darren and Jess, your rap critic and Jess
and Lady Jess.
And Lady Jess. And a good time was had by all. It was, like you said, one of the most enjoyable experiences I've had at a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Way better than last year for multiple reasons.
Do you think they'll include the After Years DLC for 4 on that collection? The 1 through 9 collection? I think they were talking about it, but I'm really not sure. I don't know that they were going to include a lot of the spin-off games. But we'll see if they ever actually release that. Have you beaten all the main Final Fantasies? Not every one of them. Like, for example, I haven't beaten 2 or 3. Most of the others I've beaten, though. So... there's a bunch of comments on that fork. Can you say overkill? I think you mean the fork.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean the fork.
Did we talk about the Conan Exiles doing Slider? I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, unfortunately. Not sure if you talked about it, but how's Fire Emblem Heroes if you played it? Sorry, I have not played it, but I would like to. I do really want to. Would you want a Cloud amiibo? That might be one of the only amiibos I want, but really, I still want to pick up Waluigi.
Yeah.
Waluigi's most important.
I don't need it.
I don't need any amiibos.
I've got that Play Arts Kai of Cloud, and I'm good.
Yeah, but amiibos have functionality within games. That's the only thing.
Do I have the system that works with it?
Yes, you have a 3DS.
Oh, yeah.
Also, the Switch will use amiibos.
Oh, yeah. I guess I just don't care about amiibos.
Yeah, I kind of don't care that much about amiibos, personally. Do you think Brave's level 50 form resembles Lord Baron from Gun?
A little bit, yeah. I do see the similarity there. I kind of wish they would have, again, not been cheap and given him a different weapon, because that's been one of the biggest problems over the last couple of years, is they'll give them a form, but then it's like, well, do they need a new weapon? No, just use the old one, it's fine. But then it doesn't look right.
Is a series of unfortunate events on your Netflix list?
Yes, that is one of the ones on the list.
Maybe I'll get to it. We'll see. Think Revenant Wings will be included on Zodiac Age. That's a Final Fantasy XII spin-off. I've actually got it. It originally came out on DS. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that coming out on Zodiac Age. But there's still like 4 months before it comes out. It's possible, but I don't know how they would make that switch from DS to... I mean, it's not the first time a DS game has gone to a console or PC or something. They could do it, but I don't know if a lot of people cared about Revenant Wings. Revenant Wings was like... It was like Tactics, but for babies.
That doesn't sound appealing.
It's kind of easy mode Final Fantasy Tactics.
Final Fantasy Tic Tacs.
And you need barely any knowledge of Final Fantasy XII in order to play it. It was okay. I don't know if it's important enough for them to include on Zodiac Age. I'll look into that and see, though. We'll see. I don't think it'll be there, though. We've got, less than a minute. And we're at the bottom of the questions. I don't know. What do you think?
We'll give it a few seconds.
Yeah, just a few seconds. Otherwise, I'm about to click to shut this whole thing down, guys. Shut it down. Shut it all down.
I'm shutting the studio down.
You can't shut the studio down. I quit.
Yeah, you can't quit. You're fired.
You can't fire someone who quit.
Man, screw you.
Would you want a 3D current-gen version of Final Fantasy Mystic Quest? You mean what Japan called Final Fantasy USA?
Final Fantasy Easy Mode?
No, see, Final Fantasy for Easy Type is a completely different thing. Final Fantasy yeah, I mean, we that was specifically created for us, the stupid Americans, because they thought the Americans did not understand how JRPGs worked. So, no, I'm not that interested. It's kind of alright. Alright, let's blow through these last few things that just popped up. Have you seen any of the Red Letter Media lately? A little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
From time to time, I listen to what they have to say on a particular title that I'm interested in. Otherwise, I don't watch them religiously.
Would you like to see a new entry of Final Fantasy Tactics or a 3D remake?
Really neither one of them. I'm fine with what we have. So are we quitting or firing? The people have a right to know.
You know what? We're going on strike.
Yeah, we're going on strike.
For a month.
Alright, we'll see you guys in March.
Yes.
Yeah, we're done for now. Thanks for a great 7th season. We'll see you again in the 8th season.
We'll see you for season 8, guys.
Bye, everybody. See you later.
Alright, have a good night.
Goodbye.